Welcome to Tea and Tarot with me, your host, Yashna. Each week I'll share what I've learned as I dive deeper into the world of tarot. I've got my cards in front of me, my cup of tea, and I can't wait to share this journey with you. This is Tea and Tarot.
Welcome back. We are doing the part 2 for the tarot spread with my friend Rabab. We started this last week and it just took so long because there's so many cards, so we decided to break it out into 2 parts. So we've already done like all the initial drawing the cards, and now we are going to interpret Rabab's spread. As a reminder for anyone who maybe didn't listen to last week's episode or who doesn't remember, the spread has 12 cards drawn for each of the months, and then a 13th card drawn for the overall year. So let's do it.
Yashna, you're so good at this.
Stop.
Yes. Thank you for the
Bob.
intro too. Yeah.
Our entire soulmate. My platonic soulmate.
Yes, always. I got you. Ben and Jerry's forever.
Ben and Jerry's and IHOP and Cinemark.
Yes. We just love food.
We do. We love some good food.
Exactly. Especially, oh my God, I've not had like a Ben and Jerry's storefront probably since we went to downtown because there just aren't any in the Bay Area.
There was one in my, so I went all the time, and every time I would think of you.
Oh, I love that. I remember your flavors too, kind of. I remember there was like one was there a coffee one in there? And then like one that wasn't chocolate or coffee.
Yeah.
And you'd always get it in a cone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yes, okay, continuing with my card. So
Oh my God.
I have for anyone who was there last episode or wasn't, I'm using the Tarot of the Divine deck. And each card is basically associated with a fairy tale and a story that originates from another country, which is super cool. Some of them are familiar and some of them are not. But yeah, I'll show my cards as I go. So the first one is January, and that's 10 of coins.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just tell you the story from my little pamphlet here so it makes more sense.
My gosh, wait, that's so cool. Okay, wait. Pause.
Because
1 second, pause. I need to like plug my iPad.
Oh my God, do I need to charge too? I do. I need to charge my computer.
Okay, let's see. Does this work? Okay, this works. Cool.
Yay.
Sitting on my floor in my living room right now. And it's funny because it's like away from all my power cords. So I dragged my laptop over, and then I dragged my laptop over and plugged my wire into my laptop to charge, which, you know, totally makes sense.
That's so funny. You're just like creating a little daisy chain.
Little daisy chain of technology.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, let's do your spread. So
yes. Okay. January is 10 of coins. So the story is Panhu from China. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And it basically represents the hard-earned rewards of a difficult venture. It celebrates the lineage that benefits from Panhu's hard work and the hardships he once endured, which allowed him to appreciate his good fortune.
whoa.
Oh, good. Maybe I'm gonna be like, I just got a full-time job. So maybe this is like, okay, now I get to enjoy it a little bit now that I have like a paycheck coming in and benefits and my health insurance. I'm turning 26 in January.
Yeah. I can also give my interpretation from like what it means in my deck. And it is about wealth and prosperity. It's like building a legacy, positive outcomes. So maybe it is like as you have this job that you're enjoying and you feel more stable, you just like are happy in that aspect of your life. It can also be like about having a good community and feeling like you have everything you need. You feel abundant. So it could just be like you are now like happy with your career, happy in other aspects. So it's like you have what you need in material.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm really feeling that vibe here, and I this like my 4th job in 2 years. I'm hopeful about this one. That's going to be true.
so far. So maybe that's what it means. Like January is a good month for it.
Yeah, and it's my birthday month, so that's
Yes.
gonna be good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, all good things in January. Okay, so my next one is three of coins. Some more coins, also
Oh, it's
upright.
coins instead of pentacles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So for all you new tarot people out there, coins is also called pentacles, depending on the deck.
Hmm.
I'm really getting used to this podcast format. So I'm like, oh yeah, I have people to talk to.
It's so fun. It's so much easier when I have someone to actually talk to as I'm doing it, too, because
Yeah.
sometimes just doing the episodes on my own is like I'm just talking to a void and I don't know like how it's fully received. Although my mom did give some positive feedback. She was like, I caught up on your last few episodes and I think you sound more natural now. It doesn't sound as
I love that.
like as stiff, from the initial episodes where I was like, I don't even know how to talk on a podcast. What am I doing? So that's
Yeah. No, you do seem really natural too. Like I can only imagine because I feel like just from like this first part to the second part, I've already gotten more comfortable. So after like
yeah,
10 episodes, you're probably a pro.
yeah, seasoned man.
Seasoned podcaster. Yeah. So what do you think about my three of coins?
Three of coins is good too. Is it in forward position?
It is an upright.
Oh wait, actually, yeah, I do have your photo, so I can also check it. But I feel like it ties in really nicely because the Three of Pentacles is about like community and cooperation. Pentacles is usually still kind of focused around work and career. So I think it's just continued good fortune at your job and is more of a reminder to like keep listening to others, make sure you have mentors you're learning from, that you're really connecting with the people you're working with so that work becomes a good community and environment for you to be in.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I feel like it's really just, okay, I found a place that I like, so now let me work hard to keep it. Yeah, same message for mine. And this
Yeah.
one is a story from Nepal in my cards too, where it's about, I'm trying to like cliff notes it a little bit, but he has like a really demanding teacher, this little boy, and because he's like really dedicated, he's able to like pass his quest.
Mm-hmm. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's a very similar message. Yeah.
Uh,
And then my next one in March is Page of Cups.
Page of Cups. Ooh, is there some romance?
Yeah,
Cups.
I hope so. That's the only cup I have here, though. No, yeah, that's the only cup I have in my deck. So I guess not a lot of romance for me this year.
The only one month of
Finally. Yeah.
mine was pretty lacking in cups, and I guess yours is too. Maybe it's the cards being
Yeah.
like, it's just, focus on yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. It's saying like, hey, you got a career, you got a lot going on. Focus on that. Mine is like, so my story is Bakunawa and the Seven Moons from Philippines. And it's about like, again, this like youthful boy. And I don't know, I guess it's about him being romantic and having this having this red string that connects him to his lover. And so it could mean like a lot of romance, idealism, spirituality, all that.
Yeah. The Page of Cups is like a dreamer card. It's about um being like a romantic at heart, kind of being sensitive, being dreamy, imagining what that future could be and envisioning it, kind of fantasizing. So maybe it doesn't necessarily mean anything's happening, but um, like you were talking about how maybe you're not ready for a new relationship right now, but maybe in March, you will start to become more ready for that and you'll start like kind of thinking about it again.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that interpretation. I'm also now thinking too that because spirituality was mentioned, that is actually when Ramadan is going to happen in March. So
Oh,
maybe, yeah, maybe it's this deeper sense of like, oh, me like really like falling in love with my faith again that month, which often happens during Ramadan by like fasting and like connecting with I don't like some sort of higher power like Allah, right? So I
Yeah.
think that would be nice.
Oh, that would be so sweet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think,
especially because that's the only cup card. I feel like that's a good one for it.
yeah, that works out well. The
And then
next
my
one,
next one is yeah, the Magician, which is the one I was showing you last episode.
yeah,
With the godmother and Cinderella.
love that
What's
card.
your take? I know it's so pretty.
My take is the magician is all about manifesting your desires. Like you have what you need, you have your skill sets, and you can make anything happen. I'm not sure like in what aspect that might really mean. Like it could be about career because that's kind of what's been talked about, or maybe there's something new that you start to want to do in April. And it's just a reminder that like whatever you want to do, you have the skills to make it happen. You have that power. You just have to manifest it and do it.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. Especially with the godmother. It's just like, okay, like you already have the godmother with you this whole time. You have like the power to create all that magic within you.
Yeah. And it's a major arcana, so it could mean like there's some major shift or like a major milestone coming that month.
I can't think of anything that because my year is also similar where it's a blank slate, but who knows? Something might pop up in April.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Country is the godmother story from for the
Oh, the
magician?
godmother is from France.
France.
Yeah, it's a French
Very,
fairy tale where she has the ability to change raw materials into something wonderful. And you can see there's even like pumpkins and mice at the bottom.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, my nails are so gross. I just took on my press-on nails. I'm not gonna do that
I
again.
have nothing on my nails. Good.
Yeah. Okay,
My
so you at least will be the same.
is like,
Yeah. The next one is Queen of Swords.
ooh,
I
she's so
love
pretty.
this one. Yeah, very queen energy. Queen of Swords. That's a strong card.
Mm-hmm. It is. Ooh, I like this for you.
Yeah. So mine, at least, is the story of um Turandot from China. And it's an Arabic folktale about a queen who is fierce and forceful. So her judgments are like very fair in principle, which seem cold, but she's still like very intelligent and witty.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I need some of that energy because I'm very much like a people pleaser, so that could be really good for me.
Yeah. And that's exactly like my interpretation too is the Queen of Swords is all about being logical, being unbiased, being like a good leader who's direct and truthful. So being more objective. So it's probably just a good reminder for this month. What is this month? May. For May, that like maybe there are some decisions you need to make or choices where you really just need to be as unbiased and objective as possible.
Yeah, okay. I'm hopeful that this happens next year. Honestly, I feel like my frontal lobe is developing. So this is making a lot of sense to me. Like I really see myself becoming like more assertive and like stronger. And I think that's what the cards are telling me I need to focus on too, is like be your own person this year. Feel alive, yes.
Why this line took me out of the line. Yeah, I can feel my frontal lobe developing. Took
Yes,
me
it's developed.
out.
So next year is the year I actually use it.
You're basically just like if I'm impulsive or I'm too like whatever about my opinions, it's not my fault. My frontal lobe ain't developed yet.
Exactly. If I'm mean, if I'm a bitch, my frontal lobe. Like on that. Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love you.
My
You're
next,
so
yeah. I love doing tarot cards with you. We both have like the same meaning, but in such different ways. It's so funny.
uh,
So this is gonna be June, and it's two of wands.
Oh, we already drew this card before for me.
Oh yeah, we did. And this one is reversed. I think yours is also was also reversed, right?
Yeah, mine was also reversed. So
Ooh.
kind of remember what it means, but it's about like not being stuck in the past, or like you might be insecure or fearful of taking that next step, but you shouldn't be stuck in the past or feel stuck because of that fear, and just like push forward, like keep planning and try to keep making progress.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Nice.
Know what it could be about, but maybe like with some of the work stuff, or like with your, maybe as you feel more settled with work or as things are going, like you'll hit a point where you want to revisit some old hobbies, or you're trying to reevaluate things again. This is mid-year, so time has passed.
Yeah, for both of us, I feel like we've had some like indecision in our mid-year path where it feels like things are kind of happening really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. And I feel like it's even telling of like my journey of becoming this like more assertive and like stronger person is maybe there's some fear that's going to be associated with that where I'm like nervous about doing all that and of like stepping out of my comfort zone. But this is a reminder of like, hey, it's okay to have that fear. Just use it and like use it as fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you'll like the story actually too.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I was not looking at the wrong one actually, but it's the same message. Yeah. Okay, this is about that one was a Hindu story, so that's why I was like, wait, you're gonna like this. This one is Italian, so it's not as meaningful. We can skip it.
I, yeah, that's funny because the guy doesn't look Indian. He looks, I was
He's
gonna guess it
Italian.
like for Roman actually, because he kind of looks
Yeah.
like
It's giving
Roman
Greek.
esque. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
a,
Have you watched Gladiator, by the
uh,
way?
hmm?
Have you watched Gladiator?
No.
Oh my God. Paul Mescal in it. I just watched it yesterday and he's so cute.
I never watched it, but I know there's a lot of hype for the second one right now.
Yeah, it's really good, honestly. Like, even without like Paul Mescal, the storyline is just so good.
Maybe when it's
Recommend.
streaming, I'll watch it. I have too many movies
Good deal.
because I want to go watch Moana too. And
Yes.
then some friends and I are planning a Wicked night together to go watch that.
Yes. Honestly, just get the AMC A-list pass because it's only $25 a month and you can watch 3 movies a week. That's what I have right now.
Oh yeah, I don't go to the movies that often, but I have Cinemark, so they do like one per month.
Oh, if you don't have an AMC near you, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Me. This is not a sponsored episode, by the way. We are not getting
Yeah,
any your Cinemark.
yeah, sorry.
Guys,
Moving on.
sharing our movie preferences for whatever.
I know. We're sponsoring all movies equally right now.
Yes, yes.
Yes. My next one is The Hierophant and it's reversed. I have a couple of major arcana coming up. Yeah, and this is July is The Hierophant reversed. Okay, I do remember this is like one of the few cards that I made when I tried to make my own deck. So it's
Oh,
meaningful to me. Yeah. But it is very much like so at least my in my deck it's White Buffalo Woman from North Dakota. And she's like a divine figure and teacher who really creates a community, and that community has a place for everyone and is very inclusive. And so, by it being reversed, it might be like having blind faith or feeling really vulnerable, maybe not feeling like you have a place as much to go to.
mhm.
Makes
Oh,
sense when you think about it from my other card of like having this fear, and then maybe that like builds up into this anxiety in the next month.
interesting. For me, like the Hierophant's more about lessons and learnings.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's usually seen as like a symbol of like a leader or a guru in your life who can help teach you. Usually it's also more representative of a spiritual path. So usually it's like take some time to learn more about your spirituality, try and focus on those teachings again and see where that path takes you, because like the symbolism in it is like it's much more of like a stairway towards not heaven, but like
Yeah.
stairway ascension, like learning, meditating, centering yourself, like those themes.
Okay, yeah, ours are pretty different in that regard. That's interesting to think about. Is like
They
this could also be a positive message if we look at it your way versus mine is a lot more like watch out.
Yeah, I think some of the insecurities and stuff come with the reverse meaning for me. Um, and this one is reverse actually, but even in the reverse, it's still about like you might be practicing or believing something that like no, is no longer relevant, or like there's some old structure in your life that no longer works. So you need to figure out what is like this new way of thinking, or like what is this new construct to put around you that is better, so that you don't feel like you're stuck in something.
Yeah, that's pretty relevant to my life, honestly. I feel like the past few months have already been like, for example, discovering like what type of friends are really like similar to me and compatible with my lifestyle. And as I'm like growing and changing, what do I actually enjoy doing versus like what do I just do because all my friends are doing it. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like next year will definitely be a continuation of all of that, of just like learning more about who I am.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
next one is the hermit. So that
Oh,
honestly is on brand again because yeah, introspection maybe about that, about and reflection about all these things that are no longer serving me.
yeah. Maybe it's also just to like, this is one is for August. Maybe like after a lot of that, like learning, a lot of that reconstruction, all the other things going on, is just like remember to take time for yourself, take time to reflect on everything going on, and protect your own needs as well. Take time away from
Yeah.
that chaos.
I'm kind of bummed because our summers are going to be so different. Your summer was like meet your friends and mine is like be alone. Like all of my people are alone. We're
Well,
not even going to talk in the summer.
I think like hermit isn't necessarily like, okay, usually it is kind of like introspection,
He's
like being,
alone. His whole thing is being alone. Yeah.
but it might not mean like socially you have to cut everyone off, but maybe it means like as you're trying to process something, like if you are trying to reconstruct something for yourself, to like tune out other opinions and other voices and focus on just what you believe and what you're thinking.
That's good. Yeah.
Or
Yeah, really
maybe
just like focus on what I want to do versus other people's opinion.
or maybe this year you just need a solo hot girl summer to yourself.
You know, I have been thinking about doing a solo trip. Maybe my hot girl summer is a solo trip.
Yeah. You should plan a
Yeah.
solo trip, and then because I need to be with friends, I'll just hop on your solo trip. And
But then yourself. Wait, actually, yes, because I don't think I can be alone for a whole trip. So please do. Please
maybe
join
it is
me.
that you need to do that solo trip and like just spend time with yourself and be comfortable that way.
Because I'm fearful of it. Like the two of
Yeah.
one said I would be. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's all adding up. It's all adding up.
Yeah.
And then my September is gonna be Page of Coins.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that card. It's pretty.
Yeah. Let's see. Page of coins.
So this is the teenager of the coins.
Teenager.
And yes, my story is from Sweden. It's about the beginning of spring and summer, a fresh start, setting goals. So that would make sense if I'm like coming back from this trip and I'm now like, okay, let me like reflect on that and think about my next steps.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like new connections, new opportunities, kind of like starting over again in that way. So yeah, like after
Hmm.
perfection, now you're branching out again. You're like, okay, I took the time for me and now I'm ready to integrate again.
Yeah. I do associate September with that a lot just because we were in school for so many years. And even though we're not anymore, September still has the energy of like you're starting a new year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No,
So, oh, that's interesting. And also fall. That's also like just a positive time where you're seeing family and friends.
I feel like fall is the most social time for me, in that I feel like there's always so many plans and things that come up. And then you have the holidays where you just start meeting more and more people.
Yeah. So many Friendsgivings this year. Like I feel like everyone's having a Friendsgiving.
Min Chao told
I
me
know.
he was trying to do the one in the Bay, and I really wish I could have been there for it. But
Yeah.
so
We'll do another one next year. You'll be there. So my next one is Four of Coins. I do remember this story. I believe it's about like this woman who's isolated from her mans in the mountains. And they find their way back to each other. But it's
oh,
reversed, so let's see what the book has to say.
oh, this card is so funny to me.
Ooh, okay. Reverse is actually gambling, recklessness, and letting go.
Interesting. Your interpretation is very different than mine.
Oh, what is yours?
I mean, not like very different, but the Four of Cups is generally a card around apathy and boredom. So it's just like there's nothing interesting around you, or you don't feel engaged with what's happening around you. So
Mm,
reverse, it can mean like you're focusing too much on the negative, you're focusing too much, um, like you're complaining or you're being pessimistic, and it's a time to really practice gratitude and start looking at the positive side instead of just focusing on the negatives. But the Four of Cups for me is like this very like
Oh, I
apathetic.
have Four of Coins, so it's gonna be Four of Pentacles.
Oh
My
my
bad.
God, I'm
Yeah,
just
it's the coins pentacles switch up. It's tricky.
wow. I heard Four of Cup and just assumed
Yeah.
scratch that.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
you're. I thought
No
I
one's
didn't know if I misheard you
so
before.
different. That's why I was kind of laughing. Ooh, why are you so bored?
And you're like, why are you
Okay.
talking about gambling?
Okay, I kind of agree. Four of Pentacles in reverse is about like hoarding or maybe like having too much. So it's like a sign you need to be
Mm.
charitable, or you need to kind of let go of some stuff, not be too greedy. So that lines up with your interpretation.
It is Halloween, so maybe I need to be like giving trick-or-treaters some chocolate that month.
Yeah,
I
or
don't
maybe
know
it's
what else.
yeah, maybe it's also in line with like you spent a lot of time like focusing on yourself, like making sure you know things, and like last month was about starting to branch out again. So maybe this is more of a
Mm.
reminder, like as you do it, not to be too controlling or to be too stingy, and to remember to like still be generous with the people around you while protecting yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, and not rely on like the material world, but really myself and like my inner stability to be
Mhm.
happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think that can be hard during the holidays too. So it's a good reminder to just be like, hey, as it gets darker, as like daylight savings gets closer.
Daylight savings has passed. Oh, you mean like the
This is
next one?
October still. This October.
Oh wait. Oh my gosh, yeah, because it'll
Yeah.
be into November. It's in November?
Oh, but it's in November. Yeah. It'll still be bright outside. You're right.
Yeah, it'll be getting darker.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm a really like reckless person, especially at money. So I feel like this card has always been hard for me to interpret for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe next year I am.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not necessarily in like the way you think it is. It's just
Yeah.
other random aspect.
It can be with like time, energy, like resources too, like you were saying. It's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, yeah, always monies. That's a good note. It's going to be
Okay, what?
interesting looking back on this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then my next one is Five of Swords, and it's also reversed. This looks Egyptian.
Is it actually Egyptian or it just looks Egyptian?
Let's see. Let me fact check. Yes, it's about Osiris, Seth, and Isis.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I know their story because I'm such a mythology nerd.
Okay, yeah. Well, Set represents a tyrant of a victor. Isis is a defeated combatant who will eventually bring about Set's defeat. So this is all about like betrayal, but when it's reversed, it could mean like compromise, peace, and justice. I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time connecting my cards, to be honest.
Yeah, this one feels a bit out of place now, but this one in reverse for me is more about deceit and resentment usually. It can mean wanting like usually it means you have a desire for peace, but you're kind of stuck in this like betrayal and deceit that you just faced because it's a more heartbreaking card.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do feel like honestly, cards are so reflective of what you're feeling when you're feeling the deck, and I've always believed that. And I feel like because I was filming it like while I was nervous and maybe not putting my full energy into it, that my the deck is kind of like showing that scattered energy too.
It could be. It could also just be like maybe it's not necessarily connected to the
Mm.
prior month, but maybe there's just some event that happens, or like who knows, maybe you like go on a date or something, but like this
Yeah.
person's not great, so you end up feeling this way in that month.
Yeah. Yeah, and something could happen that causes me to feel that way. And especially with like October being kind of sad as well. I feel like those could definitely be tied, but yeah, it could just be an independent event.
Like most of the year has been pretty good. Like the first
Mhm.
half all pretty good. Then the third quarter of the year is about like take time to yourself, introspection. And maybe like the end of the year is a little more like, okay, there's a little more hardship, a little
Mhm.
more going
A little
on.
more challenge, yeah, where I'm having to face these battles and kind of grow from it. Yeah. hmm And then
Yeah,
my
and
last one is the Emperor, though, so that's ending on a good note.
that is ending up. So maybe it is like overcoming those hardships because the emperor is about like authority and leadership and coming out on top. Um, Success.
Yeah, like the Emperor always succeeds.
Yeah, the emperor is a success card. So that actually kind of ties in nicely of like October and November were fraught with challenges and more hardship, but by the end of the year, as you go into December, you'll be in a better place again and you will overcome that.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. It definitely feels like you're finally reaching a place of stability after all these like up and down emotions throughout the year. You're then like, okay, I'm for the better because of all that. Not bad. If I end the year as the Emperor, not bad. Yeah. And then my
I think,
summary card is also Three of Swords, by the way. But what were you gonna say?
oh, your summary card? Okay. Oh, your summary card is
Oh
the three
no,
of swords.
is that
I'm
my
pretty sure my shadow seer card.
Oh no. Okay, it says heartbreak, self-harm, sadness, and grief. Yeah, so what is happening to me in 2025? I may not want to write this down. I may just redo the spread.
You know what? I the way I always like take tarot too is like a bad card's not necessarily a bad card. It's all about like lessons learned. And like the three of swords is it is a heartbreak card about painful separation and loss. But the bigger thing that I always kind of read from it is learning from that heartbreak and letting yourself be vulnerable as you move forward and you step into the light again. So I think maybe like with your entire spread, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with love, like maybe some of it is career related of as you said, you've had 4 jobs in 2 years and you're still
Mhm.
kind of coming back from that, moving on. So like your entire spread is based around like you have like even with relationships, you've had some heartbreak, you are wounded from some of that past trauma, but
Mhm.
let that help guide you to make better decisions and figure out what will really like fill your heart in the year. So it's more like these are lessons to keep in mind. Like this is the lesson. Like you have been wounded, but stay vulnerable and keep moving towards the light.
Yeah, that's a good message. And I also feel like so much of tarot is like a warning too, right? So it's trying to tell me about all of this so that I can make the right decisions. Because like yes, I might be in these difficult situations, but like I have to keep moving forward and like make the best decisions based on how my tarot like and the universe kind of guides me.
Yeah. The
It's
like
true. I mean, hopefully no heartbreak, but like
yeah.
I'm tired of heartbreak, but maybe it'll be like growing from my past heartache. Let's say that.
I think that's
Yeah.
what the Lightseer message, like the tagline she puts on it that I really love is my heart remains tender and open. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like next year or this year, since this is when we're sharing it, but this year is all about healing and moving forward and taking whatever has
Yes.
happened, like help you grow stronger.
Solo trip too. Yes.
All of these
I'm gonna
cards
have
kind
it eat, pray,
of
love.
theme.
Yes.
I feel like it resonates with that theme of like in the beginning, you're like doing better, you're doing better. As you're doing better, you need to step away and focus on yourself for a bit. And then you'll like open up again. You'll go through some hardships, but as you go through those hardships, like stay vulnerable and like keep pushing forward, and you'll end the year successful, maybe.
Yeah. No, I like that message. I'm definitely feeling good about it, especially with like there being so many happy moments too. It's so easy to focus on the bad ones, but there are good ones too.
Yeah. This will be so interesting, especially if we do actually do like a monthly teen tarot. We should do
To
it like
see the updates. Yeah.
something and reflect on our cards from that prior month to see like
That's
how
such
we
a good idea.
affected, like how it hit.
That's such a good idea. And it'll definitely like keep us checking because if you just like put away your yearly spread, right, it's so easy to forget about it. But with us doing our monthly check-ins, we'll be like, okay, was this month accurate for you?
And we can always do like a 3 card spread or something focused around that next month, like pulling out the card that we drew so it helps focus the reading. Because I've done that a couple
Yeah.
times. Those are really fun too.
Yeah, do some clarifying cards whenever we're confused. That would be really nice. Yes, that's a plan. It's a date.
Yeah, we'll figure out timing. We're gonna make it
Yeah.
happen. Um,
Yes. This has been our dream for so long too, to have like our monthly tea and tarot.
I know, and we did actually do tea and tarot. Tea.
Yes, and we made up for like an entire year in one go.
I know. You made up for not doing this all year long by just doing all of them at the same time.
We did so many cards, but that was so fun.
A long spread, but it was so cool to do. I've never done this before. And this is not
Yeah.
the first I've ever done in a spread too, because the last big one I did was 5 cards for the full spread.
Wow.
And
I feel like once you do this many, to be honest, it makes the smaller decks like easier because you have to tie 13 cards together. So now like tying five together, no problem.
yeah, exactly. Honestly, when I did 5, it was really interesting because usually when I do 3, I'm like, oh, sometimes these are even hard to tie together. But then 5 really flowed, or maybe that reading was just really good, but it flowed really well. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yours really flowed. I love doing yours.
Hey, this was so fun. I loved you too. I feel like it was still pretty good. Even though the
Yeah.
flow was a little more like up and down, I still do think it shows like the ups and downs you go through over the year because it's not always like steadily positive or steadily.
Yeah. And I think it's true to like show your audience too, like what a tarot card reading is kind of like. It's not always good, but you can like make good out of it.
Yeah, because it is about like how do you interpret them. And I love,
Especially as a reader. Yeah.
yeah, the tea and tarot sessions are so fun, especially because we both interpret cards pretty differently. So the way each of us is reading the cards like kind of adds to the overall meaning too.
Yeah. Like you had your shadow card, and for me, I was like, oh, this is just like wands. What does it mean? Or swords.
Yeah, that's so
I'm just
interesting.
glad I didn't get the tower. The tower is like the scariest card in the deck for me.
Oh, is it? Is that like your shadow seer card?
I think so. Yeah. I think because it's like all about the loss of control and
Yeah.
the imaging on like any single deck, like always just like makes me feel really sad whenever I see it. Is that the same for you when you see yours?
The tower is a scarier one for me for sure. Like whenever I see the tower, I know there's some disruption coming or something crazy is about to happen. It's still not the scariest one for me. Like usually the heartbreak ones, like all of the sword cards that are really like, oh, pain.
Yeah, where it feels like it's almost like puncturing you. Yeah, where it's just like, oof.
Yeah. Those
Yeah,
ones
and the
like
imagery on that is so sad.
the most, like the Three of Swords imagery especially is like heart-wrenching. Oh, here I found it. Like this is my Three of Swords.
Yeah, you can almost like feel it, right? Where it's just like your heart is pinging. Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm like, oh, I don't want this. I don't want this, but what are the lessons I get from this and what do I keep learning?
Yes. I love your silver linings. They were so helpful to me too as I like looked at my scary deck and you made it not so scary.
Thank you so much for joining me for these readings. I loved doing this New Year's spread with you and helping you interpret your spread and having you interpret mine. This was so much fun, and I can't wait to keep doing this more.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and inspiring me to get into tarot again. This was so great, and I love doing both our yearly spreads.
I love this so much. Thank you, and tune in next week as we just keep continuing on this tarot journey. Yeah.
Yes, in 2025.
Yay!
Thank you for listening to Tea and Tarot with Yashna. This episode was produced, hosted, and edited by me, Yashna Bensel, and brought to you by Tea Time Podcasts. The tarot reading was done using the Lightseers deck by Chris Ann, and readings were done using the Tarot for Lightseers guidebook by Chris Ann. Music was made using SoundRaw. Join me next week for another episode of Tea and Tarot.